Lately, I've been extremely interested in complicated characters. By that I mean characters who are so morally complex that it's difficult to determine what they are in words. For example, characters like Omni-Man, Joel Miller, Kratos, Shikishima, Rorschach, Jason Todd. These are all characters that have done terrible things, but I would never call them evil people. They're people who have done unforgivable things, but I can almost understand them. I can't judge them because I completely empathize with them. I could make 1,000 different videos analyzing these characters, but there's one character that sticks out the most to me, and that's I love the Peacemaker show, man. For years, people would tell me that the Peacemaker show is the best DC show ever made. And while I did agree that it's an excellent comedy with a lot of heartfelt moments, I never really saw it in the same league as The Penguin or the Justice League. But after rewatching the show, I realized this show is deeper than I thought. The character of Peacemaker is more complex and layered than people give him credit for. Hell, I ended up empathizing so much with the poor bastard that I actually started asking myself, is he even a villain? Are his actions justified? Is Peacemaker a good man? Let's find out. Let's get this out of the way. The main reason why Chris is considered a bad guy is because he kills people. He was put on Task Force X, a group mainly composed of villains, because of his unique abilities for killing people. He was calculated and he never hesitated to pull the trigger. But it wasn't until he had to kill Rick Flag that something inside Chris broke. Something changed him. But how is this any different? Peacemaker kills for a living. How does killing one guy change anything? Well, hear me out. The Greeks and Romans believed that archery was a cowardly way of fighting. For civilizations, people used melee weapons to have a fair fight, but also to have a noble and honorable fight. With a blade, you can stab your enemy in the heart, and it would be a fair fight. You can see their life fade in their eyes, but the least you can do is grant them an honorable death. And you can only do that with a melee weapon. But with a bow and arrow, not only is it a dishonorable fight, but you never look at them in the eyes. It's cowardly, but the archer never gets affected this way. In this case, in Chris's whole life, he's used the bow and arrow. He's killed people time and time again, and never loses sleep for it, because he's never looked at his enemies in the eyes. To him, they're obstacles, a mission, a target without a face. He doesn't know these people personally, because if you don't know, the worst thing you could do when killing someone is getting to know them and have a conversation with them. And in Rick Flag's case, he knew him. The target had a name, a face. The archer was forced to use a melee weapon. He didn't stab some guy, he stabbed someone he admired, a fellow teammate, a friend in the name of peace. He not only stabbed Rick's heart, he stabbed his own heart. And that's probably the biggest thing that affected Chris. His own beliefs got a friend killed. It's fucked up, but it's the first time he actually allowed himself to feel the weight of a death, even if it wasn't on purpose. Anyways, after this disaster, Chris is rightfully shot and sent to the hospital. Now Amanda Waller signs him up for Project Butterfly. His teammates being Adebayo, Harcourt, Myrn, and Economos. And one thing is completely clear. They all fucking hate him. Everyone knows his reputation. Everyone is disgusted by him. And this is the part that I think that is unfair. While I do believe that heroes should kill under no circumstances, it doesn't mean what he's doing is ineffective. Chris has this whole hilarious rant with an old guy about how killing puts down the enemies permanently.
My coterie of supervillains is 6 feet fucking under.
There, you see, Batman doesn't kill people.
Because he's a pussy.
He's a dark creature of the night.
He's a jackass who wrestles with murderers dressed like clowns and throws them in prison so they can break out of prison and then murder more people. Riddle me this. How many people you think Batman's indirectly murdered by being too much of a candy ass not to kill these fools who clearly need to be smoked once and for all, you wrinkly, Shar-Pei-looking dementia-infested fuck?
It's hilarious, but he has a point. Putting evil in jail only gets you so far. Some will break out, some will commit terrible acts of evil, but putting them down permanently is effective. Obviously, this debate depends entirely on what you believe in personally, so I'll leave it at that. But that's what Chris believes in. One of the most interesting parts about his character is his delusions. He sees himself as a hero despite everyone telling him he's a villain. He sees himself as someone in the same league as, well, the Justice League. But why does Chris view himself like that? He's a murderer. But is he really any different than Myrn, or Harcourt, or Waller? Think about it. Chris has killed hundreds of people before, but as far as we know, there are people who are equally as bad as Waller. Dictators, fascists, murderers, rapists, or simple crooks and goons. As far as we know, Chris hasn't killed a man who hasn't deserved it. Which is why he hesitated the first time on killing the butterflies. He's not killing a family just because Myrn says so. He's not killing kids. I mean, fuck me. The only time Team Peacemaker killed someone innocent was when Harcourt killed that clueless bodyguard that one time for being a witness. And I love that the show points that out.
I'm not the one who just betrayed one of our own.
Oh, okay, so it's okay to shoot an innocent man begging for his life, but this you have an issue with?
He is a fellow soldier.
Pretty random rule, that the only lives that matter are the lives of the ones who fight beside us?
Yes!
It's hypocritical that they criticize Chris's methods when Waller and the rest who criticize him do the exact same thing. Anyways, after finding out about Project Butterfly, they realize that their operation is going global. Senators, police officers, anyone could be a butterfly. It's a fucking invasion. And now Team Peacemaker is gonna try to find the source of their food. But along the way, they have to deal with someone. A bastard worse than Waller. His father. This man's a fucking demon. I might as well call him Dante Alighieri. This motherfucker is the 10th ring of hell. He's a racist, he clearly doesn't love his own son, and overall he's just a man full of nothing but hate and misery. Like I mentioned, Chris was taught how to kill since he was a child. When he was forced to stab a man to death, Chris cried in pain and shame while his father stood there and couldn't be any prouder. If you want more reasons to hate him, imagine getting out of prison after 4 years and getting out of the hospital after getting shot only to be told,
I never gave you a second thought while you were in there. I never had any feelings for you, not like your brother. Him, I fucking loved, but you were just a blob of flesh I felt nothing for. How did my fucking sperm go into a Nancy boy like you?
It's sad. The only time we can actually see Chris and his father bonding is by making fun of someone's trauma. He's a horrible man, if you can even call him a man. And this is another thing that makes Chris's actions a little more justified. Back then, he would kill someone and then flick his nose. He used to consider his killings as an achievement. But now whenever he's mentioned of the terrible things he's done, his eyes drop in disappointment. He doesn't enjoy what he does. For the first time, he's questioning if he's even a hero. He feels regret.
You're only right about one thing. I am a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit for listening to you for all those years. I'm a piece of shit for not killing you in your sleep.
And after years of torment and agony, after Chris's father literally tries to kill him, Chris fights back for the very first time. And overwhelmed with emotions, he holds a gun and points it to his father. His father calls him slurs and calls him pathetic, even at gunpoint. Eventually, Chris pulls the trigger, and then he falls to his knees and breaks down. Chris made the wrong decision. He did exactly what his father would have done. He did exactly what he was trained to do. But on the bright side, he's now free from him. His torment and his misery will somewhat remain quiet on Chris. He did what he thought was necessary, not what he thought was right, just like before. Team Peacemaker eventually finds the source of the butterfly's food. It's this giant Oh my god! What the fuck is that thing? Oh, what the fuck? It looks like Silky! Oh, it's like the penguin all over again! Get it off! Get it off! Get it off! Sorry about that. Anyways, Team Peacemaker finally arrive at the location of the cow and put up a good fight. They have their asses fucking handed to them, but eventually Chris reaches the cow and finds Goth. And suddenly, things begin to turn. He realizes that they're more alike than they think. You see, the butterflies came to Earth not to conquer or rule the world. They came to save it.
Our kind traveled here from a planet that had become unlivable. Your planet had the habitat we needed. Water to drink and air to breathe. But not long after we arrived, we realized the people of Earth were on the exact same trajectory as our people had been. Ignoring science in favor of populist leaders who tell you that the floods and the fires and the disease are unrelated to your own actions. Valuing profit over survival. Treating minor inconveniences as assaults on your freedom. And so we made a vow to do anything we could to change your future. We made a vow to make the choices for you that you were incapable of making on your own, to save your people and your world, no matter how many lives it cost us.
I cherish peace with all my heart. I don't care how many men, women, and children I need to kill to get it.
Myrn disagreed with our methods. He didn't think we had the right to impose our will. But you're one of us, Christopher Smith.
In order for world peace, or at least a twisted version of world peace, to be achieved, the humans would have to surrender their freedom, surrender their authority so that the butterflies can make the decisions for them. The right decisions. Not decisions based on greed or power or fragile egos. Just peace. This goes in line with what Chris believes in. He cherishes peace with all his heart, no matter how many men, women, and children he needs to kill to get it. But is this right? Should we give up our freedom for peace? Should we surrender to domination by aliens? Or will we end up in the exact same situation? Will the butterflies make the same mistakes we have? Should one man decide the fate of the world? There's no time to even think, so Chris doesn't think. He activates the human torpedo on Adebayo and kills the cow. He made his decision. But think about what could have been. Could the butterflies and the humans coexist? Was the world really that close to peace? And most importantly,
Did I just kill the world?
Maybe. Or maybe you just gave us a chance to make our own choices instead of our bug overlords.
he gave the world a chance to fight for themselves, a chance to make peace for themselves on their own terms. He literally fought for their freedom. And most importantly, the reason he made this decision was because
I knew that'd hurt you and the others if I did.
for the first time, Chris made a decision for himself. Not one based on his father's judgment or Waller's. Not one based on his own beliefs. He made a decision based on love. For the first time, there are people in this world who see him past his reputation. They see the man he is today. And he's changing. He's finally kinder to his friends. And now there's nobody to manipulate him. With Task Force X and his father gone, he's now a free man. And he's a man who can choose whatever future he wants. He can choose to be Peacemaker, or he can choose to be Christopher Smith. But what will he choose? Can a man actually change? I think so. Myrn's entire character is about an alien forcing a man to change. But the question is, can a man change for himself? Will Chris change for the better? Will he kill again? Will others allow him to change? Will Chris ever find peace within himself? And is Christopher Smith a good person? I sure as hell think so. Will he stay this way? I don't know. Let's wait for season 2. There's a song James Gunn put in season 1, and it perfectly describes the character of Peacemaker. I can't put it due to copyright, but I'm gonna read part of the lyrics here for you. I am what I am, nothing more than a man, nothing heavenly within my command. With everything to lose, I reach out to you. Would you love a creature like me?